Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Hagen-Botham Insurance and Financial Services.
This show focuses on sharing good news and powering the good in our community. Now here's your host, City Current CEO, Jeremy Park.
Welcome back to the City Current Show, powered by Hagen-Botham. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And in this case, we're talking about the power of art to help those who are experiencing homelessness. That's why we're excited to be talking about Daybreak Arts. We're joined by their founder and executive director, Nicole Minyard. How are you doing, Nicole?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here. Thanks.
Well, amazing work that you're doing. We'll talk all about that. This starts, though, for you as a high school student. So give us a little background and the origins for launching this nonprofit.
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in a really small town in Kentucky, and the narratives told to me about homelessness were pretty stereotypical. And my senior year, I got connected with a guy who was in my church, and he would go out to, in Louisville, Kentucky, homeless camps and tents. And so I started to go with there, and it really started to challenge a lot of the stereotypes I had, because I got to meet them in their safe space and in their setting, or as safe as it could be. But it really was this chance where I could get to know them on this deeper level. And so I moved to Nashville in 2010 to go to Belmont University. And I ended up getting an internship under the art therapist at Room in the Inn here in Nashville. Love Room in the Inn, a local homeless organization here. And it was there that I continued to build relationships with people experiencing homelessness. And in that art room, I would get questions like, how do I get my art in a coffee shop? Or how can I sell my art to people? Because while Room in the Inn had an art room, they didn't have a social enterprise model or a way to really create a marketplace for people who have a lot of barriers to traditional employment, right? Whether that's physical disabilities, mental illness. When they do access employment, it's typically low wage. And so to be able to leverage your creative talent to earn income was really kind of the launching point of Daybreak Arts. Then we were actually called Poverty in the Arts, and we went through a rebrand during the pandemic alongside all of our artists and got to dream with them around that. But yeah, so it's been really exciting. We actually started with 2 artists in that art room, and they're currently still involved in our organization today, 11 years later.
Well, when you talk about the impact, which we'll talk about in terms of the dollars and the lives, it's grown immensely over that time period. So go ahead and dive in, because you do have a number of programs. So go ahead and dive into the programs and how the magic happens.
Yeah, so our primary program is our Artist Collective program. And so we recruit adults impacted by homelessness and housing insecurity by partnering with local social service organizations here in Nashville. We have really great partners here in the community. And so we offer people a space to create art, the supplies they need to experiment, try new mediums. We bring in workshops. We have workshops, bring in local artists. And then we provide places for them to display art, share it with the public, and then earn income through their creative talent. So obviously we have traditional sales models where they can sell their art. We have it online or in person galleries, but they also earn art through teaching and intellectual property licenses and prints and merchandise and live painting and all of these different ways that you can be a creative and earn income. We help explore with our artists on what works best for them, what their talents, their gifts, their desires are. And so with that, we work with a group of about 30 artists. Our studio and gallery is on Dickerson Pike in East Nashville. We've been there since about 2018. It's right on the bus line. And so we're really just trying to be that space where if you want to engage in creativity, you can come and explore what it means to be creative. And then if you want to take it a step further and sell it and earn income, we provide that marketplace and business entrepreneurship piece as well.
Talk about shared walls in that art program.
Yeah, so that's one of the opportunities where we were trying to figure out what is art access. And it not only is creating art, but being able to have art ownership and being able to own affordable art. And so one of the way that program is structured is that a business or a family can sponsor an art piece by one of our artists, and they get the income, the artist who created it. And in addition to the sponsor getting an art piece, they sponsor another art piece for someone moving into housing. So our partnership has been through Urban Housing Solution, and so we've been able to, through some sponsorships, get some art pieces there. And a lot of times when you're moving into a new space and you don't have anything to make it feel like home, to bring that warmth, being able to pick out an art piece to bring with you is kind of what we felt was a great extension of that art access piece that we're trying to accomplish here in Nashville.
I know for many of the artists, it's not only a chance to showcase their artistic ability and share their story and inspiration and, kind of the story piece of it, but it's also to building community and a safe place, as you mentioned, to build relationships and make friends. And so talk about kind of what you have a chance to see in terms of the testimonials for the artists and the individuals you have a chance to serve and work with.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, when I started this, I really thought the income piece was going to be the number one thing that our artists really needed, wanted, and resonated with. And when we started to collect survey feedback early on, as well as to today, income shows up sometimes, but more often than not, it's the relationships. It's that homelessness is a very isolating experience. And so to be able to come into a community where there's not only other people who have experienced homelessness, but are also artists, because being an artist sometimes can be an isolating experience in its own right. And so to really have a group of people who understand what it feels like, who understand you, who maybe have a little more patience and grace with you. We also, we've heard feedback that we're cheerleaders in our artist life for some of the first time they felt like they had. Just having a support system, oftentimes, again, when you're experiencing homelessness, and a lot of the things that lead to that is the lack of support networks, the lack of feeling like you have people on your team, both materially or socially. And so for us to be able to provide both of those things for our artists and to invest in them as people has been really rewarding. And I think really showcases that with the feedback we get of community relationships, feeling integrated, feeling hopeful for the first time, are some of the larger things that come out rather than just I got to earn income.
At this point, you've worked with over 120 artists, over $100,000 in terms of the impact back to the artists and individuals. Share a little bit of, you don't have to name names, obviously, but share a little bit of that personal story for the artists and what it means to them that they have this chance to experience. So I know you've got one, testimonial video up on your website, but share a little bit of the personal storyline with this.
Yeah, so I think, primarily I hear a lot that they really love that they were able to offer and contribute something to the community. A lot of times being homeless, again, you're in survival mode, and the way you interact with people, you need something. And so to be able to flip that and to be able to offer the community your talents, your gifts, your creativity, and for that to be seen by a purchased piece has been really rewarding for them. And then also being able to earn income. So our artists earn 70% of the original artwork sales. 30% is reinvested back into the organization to help keep paying for this art supplies, the studio space, all that our artists get at no cost. And then with the income, our artists are able to, purchase necessities that they may need. Being able to have earned that income, I think, is super rewarding for them. We've seen our artists be able to go out to eat for a night where you can just feel normal, right? Like that's something we take for granted when we have homes and stable jobs and things like that. But to feel like because most of our artists, were not homeless their whole lives. They had normal lives at one point. And so to try to connect with what it felt like then, they're able to use their income for that as well. Our artists are also extremely generous, and so they'll earn money and then share it on those around them, which is, I think very true of populations like that. And so it's definitely the ability that they were able to earn it themselves and then that they get to spend it on however they want, I think is a really meaningful and rewarding experience.
Talk about how this is changing the perception and the perspective from the community of homelessness, because I think what's really cool is you spotlight the artists on your website. And when you go through and you look at them and you see, the storyline for them, to your point, these are people that you normally wouldn't think, oh, they're homeless. Like these are just normal, amazing people that have immense talent and through circumstances and things like that, find themselves in the predicament. But I think part of this is changing the stigma, changing the stereotypes, and connecting at a deeper level to the community, to the individuals to create these opportunities. So talk about that aspect of changing perspectives.
Yeah, absolutely. So, whenever one of the most fascinating things to me is when we do give surveys or get feedback from our community, the number one sentiment that comes up is I had no idea how much they were like me. And so there is this, as you said, like barrier towards othering a group of people. And because of the environment you see them in, a whole list of stereotypes comes into play on what must have brought them there, and that could never happen to me. And I think that, being able to really meet them and get to know them and their story through their art, which is this like maybe more like safe place to gather and to talk, really challenges a lot of those stereotypes that people have. You'll find that our artists have worked, multiple jobs their entire lives. And it's surprising how much medical debt and medical disabilities come into play. And overwhelmingly, I would say that comes into play of the people I've interacted with more than drug addiction, even. Like it is, and if anything, the drug addiction came afterwards, right? After the medical debilitating chronic, disease, and then you're spiraling into homelessness. And so a lot of that is a coping mechanism that happens afterwards. It's not always the case, but we have people who are moms in our collective. We have people who are in their 70s in our collective. People who are 18, like it really does run the gamut of different backgrounds, abilities, mental health. And so I think that the diversity in our collective also really allows the community to see the breadth of what it means to be homeless, to be housing insecure, and sometimes how quickly that can change when it's just, an employer maybe holding a paycheck from you and not giving it to you on time and you couldn't pay rent. And so it's a really important aspect of the program that the community really get to meet and interact with our artists and get to know more about what it means to experience homelessness in our community.
So how can the community help support Daybreak Arts?
Yeah, so the number one way that you can support is by purchasing art, purchasing prints. We have a marketplace online. You can show up at an event. We also have those on our social media as well as online. That puts money directly into our artists' pockets, helps build their self-confidence, and it also helps support the organization's programming. If you don't see anything that you want to purchase right now, you can make a donation. Donations help provide all of those opportunities and resources to our artists so that they can make new art. And so you can make a donation. You can become a volunteer. We have lots of different opportunities from working in our studio to helping sell at events to we have an annual gala and we're always looking for committee members for that wonderful event. Last year, we actually sold over $11,000 of art in one night for our artists, which was really exciting. So, definitely a lot of different ways to get involved to meet the people that you're working with and that you're supporting and lift them up.
For you, especially going back to high school and then your time obviously at Belmont University to now, how have these experiences helped shape you as a leader, as a catalyst for good? So in other words, how have you grown through this process?
Yeah. So I think a couple of the biggest things that I've taken away, I was not a business or nonprofit major or anything in college. My major was actually religion and the arts. But my professors really encouraged me to, start now. Don't wait. You don't have to wait until you have all the skills, until you have all the education or training. Build the right team around you of those people. Those are our board members, our volunteers. Share your, cast your vision widely. Those that will resonate will come to you, will be drawn. And so that was really pivotal advice on helping me, really start and get going early on when I really didn't know a lot about grant writing or strategic planning or all of that. But building the team was super important, and that's still true today as we grow. We're our studio and gallery space, we're on a month-to-month lease now, which is wonderful in a gentrifying area. So we're really exploring. We have a real estate committee, and we're looking at that next phase, right? And so we have a real estate team now of lots of different backgrounds in the industry, and I know absolutely nothing about it. And so I'm so thankful for this team that's just been around, that has joined alongside me to help execute this vision and dream of Daybreak Arts and the impact that it has on our artists.
That's awesome. We'll wrap up with contact information. So where can we go to learn more and get involved with Daybreak Arts?
Yeah, our website is daybreakarts.org. You can read about all the different opportunities as well as shop and read about our artists. And then you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Daybreak Arts. That is just one word.
All just one word. Well, once again, daybreakarts.org is the website where you can go to learn more. So, Nicole, thank you for all you and your amazing team do to power the good. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services is proud to power the City Current Show. We're a people-first company that protects what matters most, the families, businesses, and trailblazers that keep our community going. As one of the nation's top independent insurance firms, Higginbotham is a single-source solution for business insurance, employee benefits, HR services, and personal insurance that's customized for you. We're here to serve you, the people you care about, and your community. Call 866-377-1959 or visit higginbotham.com.